So that's that. So that is the top chest. So moving down to the next part. So I've got a damp detector, stud and cable finder, some mains tester, tyre tread depth gauge, tyre pressure gauge. This here is a little UV torch. I'm not sure if you can really sort of pick that up, but I bought that for trying to find the air conditioning leak on the MR2 because they put a special dye in there when they recharge. Couldn't find the leak, so that's something I've still got to fix. Brake fluid tester to see if you've got any water or more, you know, your brake fluid's okay. That wasn't particularly expensive. It was a few pounds, nothing much, but I bought that for when I swapped out the all of the brakes on the MR2, and the brake fluid was actually okay, but I swapped it all out for new stuff anyway. There's my multimeter, Fluke multimeter, OBDT, oh my word, OBD2 code reader and diagnostic tool. Okay, so just had to change batteries there. So this here is a PC repair kit. I build my own PCs and things, so it's got all the bits and bobs you need there, anti-static bands and drivers and chip extractors and all that kind of stuff. This is an Opcom diagnostic interface for Vauxhall Opel cars. The boroscope there for, I looked at that, or shoot that rather, at the tool haul video around Christmas time. Yeah, sort of a testing and diagnostics drawer, I guess, sort of. This is my old laptop, which I use, got diagnostic software on. I've also got the Toyota TechStream software. Toyota actually allow you to download, install that, and then rent access to that for, like, if you just need it for a day, I think it's like €1 or $1 a day. So it's really good for that. You will need to, however, use it. You'll need to purchase one of these cables. Installing those can be a little bit difficult for some people, installing the drivers, but TechStream, if you've got a Toyota, I mean, it's just brilliant, unrivaled, really is. Trim removal tools, so if you don't have a set of these, definitely pick up a set of these for interior trim removal. They're non-marring, so no more scratching up your plastic panels in the car. There's some metal ones here for external clip removal and things. Inspection mirror. If you've got an MR2 and you need to change the, I think it's the left hand headlamp bulb, and you don't have the hands of a 2-year-old toddler, you'll definitely need that to be able to see what you're doing, unless you're going to take out the entire headlamp unit. Stanley knife, well, that's what we know them as in the UK. I don't know what you call it in the US or Canada. Box cutter. I've had that years. That's from my floor laying days. There's the scalpel set there. Blades. Was my rivet gun, and for some reason a calculator. Files and wire brushes. They are what they are. Some of these are really quite old, but still as good as the day they came out of the factory. Although a little bit of corrosion on them from the old damp in the shed, so I'll give them a bit of a clean up. They do the job lovely. Thumb finders. So if you're watching this and you only want, or you need a hammer and you don't know what hammer you need to buy, just buy a claw hammer. This one is a 16-ounce hammer. That'll pretty much do everything you need it to, with the bonus of having the sort of pry bar-esque, if you like, back, and you can pull your nails out with that and that sort of thing. So various sizes of claw hammers, a couple of pin hammers there. There's a hammer for removing the stuff off the top of welds. Club hammer, the 3 new ball peen hammers which I got for Christmas. Some mallets, soft face nylon and rubber hammer there, and a dead blade. Spanners or wrenches. So these are a mixture of Draper and I filled in the gaps with some which actually I bought. I think these are from Taiwan, possibly China, but they're all 72 tooth ratchets. You do not know the joy of a ratcheting wrench until you actually use one for the first time, and you realise that you've managed, well, you wonder how you've managed to survive repair life in whatever it is that you use your tools for, and wonder why you don't have a set of these. Definitely start picking up some of these, they're really useful. Obviously ratcheting end isn't for high torque, that's what that end's for. You know, people hang off of these and then the ratchet mechanism breaks, if you like, and then wonder why it broke. You know. So I've got, I know 6mm right the way up to 27. Swan neck or offset spanners, metric. These are all metric as well. I don't have any, no, that's a lie. I do have quite a few SAE or Imperial offset spanners. I've got to unpack all those and clean them up. This here, my dad gave this to me when I was really young and I was fixing my bike. So if you don't have any spanners, buy a decent adjustable spanner. I love what the Australians call these, and I'm not going to say it on the channel because I'll get a strike. Look it up. I've had me laughing all day, really. I think it's a good description for what some of these are. Not come across this brand before. I mean, obviously this spanner has got to be the best part of over 30 years old now, and it's got a bit of corrosion from the damp in the old shed, but it is on the money in terms of there's no movement in this jaw at all. And if you compare that with a cheaper I don't know if you can see that, but you get quite, on the cheaper ones you get a fair amount of movement in the moving section of the jaw. So yeah, that's, you know, my dad gave that to me. That means quite a lot to me. It's funny how you get attached to things like that, really. But yeah, so I'm going to clean that up and re-oil him, bring him back to glory. Flare nut spanners, wrenches. Bought this set specifically to do the brakes on the MR2, so you can take off the nuts on the lines. They're Bergen as well, and metric, and they did the job fine. Yeah, I was pleased with them. Flex head ratcheting wrenches. These are 8 through to 19. Got those for Christmas. They're in the tool hall. And finally, this is the first set of spanners I ever bought. These are by a company called Rolson, which are definitely a budget brand, but I'll tell you what, they've never rounded off a nut, funnily enough. I've never had that issue, and they've always done the job. The only complaint I would have about these is they're very thin, so if you've got to put some leverage on one, it can cut into your hand a bit, but there we go. That's that there is the spanner drawer. I am tempted with a 25 set spanner set at the moment, and if I buy those, that'll be the last set I buy, I think. Empty drawer to grow into. I put all the nuts and springs, rivets and washers and stuff in here. Not all of them. I've got all that there to sort out as yet. So yeah, I've got spare bulbs, Forstner bits, some drill bits, security light bulbs. There's the guide for sharpening the blades on my planes. countersink bit set. These are from Aldi, I think, which is a supermarket in the UK. Moving down, lithium drill, wood burning stroke soldering set, cheap drill sharpener. So this here is my, well, it's not a Dremel, but if I say it's a Dremel, you know what I mean. And for those of you in the UK, you can tell how old this is. Woolworths doesn't even exist anymore, and I bought this years before Woolworths closed down. End of an era when Woolworths closed. Yeah, so that kit I bought years ago, and it's got the stand and the internal drive bit to be able to use it away from the actual tool itself, and lots of different bits and bobs. Always does the job. I've never not had to replace it with a proper Dremel yet. This is the oil pressure kit, which you saw in a tool haul. The lid is broken on it. Oil pressure kit there. That was a bargain. Got to fix the hinge on that though somehow. Bruce L. Check out Bruce L's channel. He does some cool stuff. He gave me an idea just to rivet a couple of hinges on there, which I might well do actually. And then just a mag light. It's a 3D cell mag light. So here we have a tap and die set. Yeah, tap and die set, just a small one. I haven't needed anything else. So there's that. There is a brake caliper wind back tool. Now this set is a prime example of having a look about to make sure you get value for money for your tools. Machine Marts sell this kit at the moment. I think it's about £30, something like that. I bought this on eBay. It's exactly the same kit. In actual fact, I think you actually get more adapter plates in this kit. £12 delivered. Crazy money. There's a spare one of these socket holders, and that's what I'm talking about, where I don't like the pegs on these because they snap off if you're not careful. This is the anodised aluminium fuel line disconnect set, and an AC and transmission line as well. There's the hub puller. This here is my compression tester. Now this is another example. I think Machine Marts sell this kit or something smaller for about £25–30, and that was about £10. Exactly the same kit on eBay. I've used that a few times, and that does the job pretty well. This is a cheap hole saw set. I've bought that specifically to fit the TTE roll bar on the MR2, which I've still got to do, and I'm going to do a video for that. For those MR2 owners who are subscribed to the channel for that purpose. I'm just waiting for the better weather really, because every time I go to do something on that car it starts raining, and I need the roof down for that. And the other thing with those roofs is you're not supposed to open them below 5 degrees Celsius, and it hasn't really been that for the past 3 weeks. Titanium drill index. So that's that drawer. And then lastly I've got a Clarke 24 volt drill. There is the bits for my router bits there. There's an old power supply. Coil spring removers. If you're going to buy these, if you're going to do this yourself at home, buy a set that've got 2 hooks on each end rather than just the one. I've seen a spring under tension go off of something like this that only had 1 hook on, and honestly just duck, because it's going to take your head off, so be really careful if you're going to do that. This was something else that my dad gave me when I was young. I mean before I was even buying tools. Just wanted a torch. This is a gas safety torch, because my dad before he retired was a gas engineer, and there's no sort of switching parts here in case of gas explosion. You turn the head and it turns it on and off. And because at the time you couldn't get these keys, you have to spin this out to be able to change the batteries. He hacksawed across the end there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, hacksawed across the back there to put a notch in it, so I could use a standard screwdriver to open it up and change the batteries. My Bosch router, just an old torch, another Woolworths tool there. My mouse sander, gone for donkey's years. Just keeps going, does the job. Small angle grinder, electrical bits and bobs, and my battery charger. So at the moment that is the main cabinet, and then over here I use this toolbox just to carry tools out to the drive, to the cars there. And then this toolbox here, this is the tote tray that, this tray here, this tote tray came free with this tool chest. It's a good size. The handle's a little bit flexible on the top, so if you start loading it up, excuse me, if you start loading it up with a lot of tools, it's going to flex a bit. It's just holding these old rails that all those sockets used to live on. Empty drawer. I'm still sort of loading this all out at the moment. Some paint brushes. This has sort of more become my household decorating type chest. And apart from these, a couple of filter removal tools and a strap wrench there. Just some stuff. So what's that? So I've got a solar panel somewhere for when I go camping. So solar controller and the solar panel, and it can charge bits and bobs while we're out camping. Japanese whetstones and a really badly abused sharpening stone. Another empty drawer. Scrapers of various types. Measuring stuff, a speed square. My Jeep Zippo lighter. Never smoked in my life. My wife bought me that. Nice to have. Some decorating stuff. There's some brick corners there, chalk lines, mixers, and roller stuff, and general decorating bits and bobs. Drill bits, my staple gun, which is what I use to staple on all the Tyvek exterior wrap onto the framing of the workshop. There's a pocket hole drill bit there. Other bits and bobs here, some little chisels, a drill gauge. I need to clean these up, tin snips. They have definitely had a tough life with the damp and corrosion in the old shed. Masonry drill bits. Sanding block, sanding disc. This is my old staple hammer. You put the staples in the end there, and then you whack the staples in for underlay on foam or cloth back carpets when I was a floor layer. There's a laminate flooring fitting kit and a mallet and the bolster for carpet fitting. This drill, my mum bought me this when I was about 13, I think, 14. Still going as good as the day I got it. Excellent drill that is. My Bosch drill through the world drill. I think that would go through the Earth's crust if it needed to. Got a glue gun there. This is something, once again, this is the sort of thing that my wife picks me up. You don't realise you need these little gadgety things. Some of them I think can be, I'm not talking about tools that are gimmicky, like those, you've seen those sockets with all the pins in. Yeah, they don't buy that, they're junk. Buy proper sockets. But this is really useful. So if you can't get the drill into some recess or angle to be able to drill your hole, You put that in the chuck and then you can angle it where you need it to, and it does the job. And it's got a little side thing there to be able to guide it. There's a plug timer there. Put that on for the Christmas lights on the shed. Heat gun, soldering iron, solder gun thing. I could never really get on with these. I don't know if it's because, I don't know, just could never get on with it. And this was an old hairdryer which I use for when that is just too hot. And I sort of thing like for heat shrink and stuff like that, rather than using a flame. There's a couple of solder suckers there as well. Oh, actually that's a gas soldering iron there as well. Air tools, so the 4 main ones in here you saw on a recent video that I did. If you haven't seen that, check it out. So there's a drill, air hammer, there's the impact gun and the wrench, and then I've got tire inflator and the blow gun as well. More air tools, so there's a paraffin gun, the canister for my paint gun, there's a small touch-up paint gun there, airbrush kit, some brushes for cleaning and air fittings, an auto oiler which I've never used because it doesn't do a very good job, and moisture trap for the airline when you're painting. And last but no means least is a whole assortment of bike bits for repairing people's bikes with. So not so much now, but I used to have a lot of people bring their bikes to me and I'd repair them for them. I wouldn't charge them, it's just you know, I can do these things and I'm happy to help people out. So but what I used to do is if there was parts where people were junking bikes and getting rid of them, then any good parts I'd take off, chuck in this drawer, so then they were available to fix other people's bikes. There's a new set of discs for my mountain bike there, some inner tubes, some old brake levers, chain cleaning tool. These are pretty good actually. You'll be surprised how much stuff these will clean out of your chain, all the grit and stuff. You think you've cleaned it with like a brush just on the bike, you run the chain through this with a bath of cleaner in it. Really cleans them up well. Yeah, so there's all bits and bobs there. So that, gentlemen and ladies, is pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Once I've got everything unpacked and away, I'll probably do another update. So let me know what you think, what you thought of it. Leave me a comment and a like, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And as I usually say, take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.